Hey guys, my name is Mark from jazzguitarlessons.net. Welcome to this vlog where I want to do it as much of a treat to myself as a treat to yourself. Actually, today's my birthday. So I wanted to shoot this video about making the changes and how crucial it is for any jazz player. If you're more advanced, I recommend you stick around. Actually, is the microphone close enough? I should do this before I start recording, right? Birthday head. If you're an advanced player, you might be surprised as to there's things that you already do. You already know how to run changes, meaning that if you play a line or a comping, it has to be specific to the current harmony, meaning the chords go by and you have to play on those chords in the spirit of the jazz style. If you're advanced, I recommend you stick around the video because I'm going to increasingly add meat around the bone. I'll show you my method for how to make the changes. And of course, I'm going to try to fulfill my mandate. So thanks a lot for being here. There's a gazillion videos on YouTube, and I knew you chose to watch that one, so I'm going to make it worth your while. Please like and subscribe to this video. I publish regular stuff on the regular, and also, as I tell my students, you might just watch a YouTube video, subscribe, and then watch one of mine. One. It's going to change your playing forever. Don't know, maybe this one, maybe not. But if you subscribe, you are putting all the chance, the opportunity in your court to see something that might change your playing. All right, so let's get going. If you're listening to a rock solo, I'm going to say AC/DC or Metallica. Chances are the solo that's taking place as far as sort of improvising is done within the context of a scale. What really, and that goes for some blues as well, or funk music or pop, whatever. When you're going into jazz, a lot of players go, there's a chord change and another. Are you telling me that the player is changing the scale every time? It's like, yeah, yes, actually, yes. Scales, arpeggios, modes, patterns, this and that, and licks, they're all simultaneous. So in this video, what I want to do, I want to remind you, what I'm about to show you is not negating any of the stuff that you learned before. I just want to give you another opening, another perspective on the same thing. I get students that go, oh, now I want to play on this blues, and it's jazzier, so there's more chords, so it means I have to learn all the modes. I'm like, yeah, you could do that. Or I want to learn the arpeggios because it contains the notes of the chord, the good notes, the money notes. Yeah. Oh, I want to learn all the scales. I want, and to me it's like, yes, all of the above, it all works. What I want to show you now is not a shortcut, but something that applies to playing improvisation, applies to playing, constructing your own chord melodies, applies to comping as well. Namely, it's playing on guide tones. It's playing the third and sevenths, playing the shell voicing. So let's start with the blues in C, and I want to make it super pedantic. I want to make it 1-4-5. So C to F7. I'm just playing 1, 3, and 7. Then here we have 1, 7, and 3. And let's go to 5 now. G. All right, you're still with me? So what I did here, what I recommend you do, so of course, the approach, if you were playing in the style of a blues player, a B.B. King, you might just go, and that works. Right? That's okay to play in a blues, in a blues pentatonic setting, major blues, minor blues, you might do all of this, of course. But if you're trying to be more chord specific, what I recommend you start looking at is what's happening on strings 4 and 3, and where you have your guide tones, your shells, or say your third and sevenths. So sorry, I put my fingers here to avoid the ringing. That's a sort of a habit I have for recording. So instead of rolling down my volume all the time, right? So here on the C chord, we have the C note, and we have the E and the B flat. For the F, we have the E flat and the A. And for the G, we have the F and the B. So look at this. That's all you need to play blues. So let's just run a course of this, just in basic comping, and just see if you can get rid of your root and just play the shells. 1, 2, let's do a bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. I said I wasn't gonna do that in this video. Can't help it. 2, 3, 4. Good. Now, the first thing you have to do, so the step one is really to take anything. You could take a standard, you could take a blues like this. I'm going to add meat around the bone, the blues, as promised. I will later on. Stick with me. Just stick around. You want to make sure it's on strings 3 and 4, meaning your D and your G string. Why is that? It's right in the middle of the guitar. So that's going to be useful for situation when you want to build a comping around that, like we've just done. It's also going to be useful because you liberate your finger from the bass notes. All right. And also you have freed your top strings because you're not barring for playing some extensions. All right. So your step one is to do that. If you are taking up any standard, any song, any jazz, my step one, like stop everything you're doing right now and go find the third and seventh for every chord in the song on your strings 3 and 4. Step one. Step two, you want to do this in what I call the other inversion. It's not a proper chord inversion, guys. I'm just saying if you have third and seventh, it means somewhere else on the same string you have seventh and 3. Namely, if we were here, it means that here we have a C to the F, to the G, to the C. So there's three sets of tritones. They're here and here. So let's see if we can do a comp here with just the third and sevenths, but on that higher inversions. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's even more tempting. Help it. So much fun. All right, so what now? Now you have this. If you can play through this, good job. We're still doing a basic comp over a basic 1-4-5 blues, but we're doing it in the, what's the least amount we could play? You know, go all the way down to what can I play that will still sound like I'm playing that blues? Even we could go to one note, but then I'm like, that's where I draw the line. You want to play chords, 2 notes, right? What now? What's next? I just want to show you the fact that going there first, it has 3 implications for comping, for improvising, and for chord melody. It's fantastic. It's ridiculous. And to be honest, all right, Jazz Guitar Mastery Program about to open up. Check this out. Go to mastery.jazzguitarsons.net. Put your email in. There's a free 6-part training you might take about these things, and then we're going to open it up soon. That process is reflected in all of the modules I publish because it's so foundational. I mean, I knew my scales and I was a little rocker when I was a kid, whatever. But as soon as I started to see all the chord progressions on these middle strings, I was able to do stuff. And let's get into that. So what is that stuff? Well, first thing for comp, what you can do is start adding a note on your top string. What note? Well, see what sounds good. Like if you're playing on a C here, if you could add that C note here, so you could have a comping that goes like this. Then to your F, then up to your C. You have to figure out the fingering for that. To F. Back to the C. Up to the G4. All right. Same thing here. What note could you add? Well, the G, 3, 4. How cool is that? Now, I played very, very basic chord tones. Meaning on the C here, I played a C note on top. What if you played a D? Now you have a ninth. So imagine if you could keep that note. That's a C9 and then that's an F13. Now you're really going to town. And look, we're just playing third and seventh and one more note on the second string. And then for your G, keep the D. So let's do a full chorus fast. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. We could do the same here. What if we added an A note? We have a C13. Wow. down to an F9. Woo! C13. So let's do a full chorus of this. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. Right, so you see you're getting to a point where you can add things by actually starting by removing things. We removed a whole bunch of stuff, like, nah, get rid of this, no bar, no this, no that. Start with the bare bone, then rebuild it from the ground up. And now we've added the second string. So you guys, some advanced players, now you might want to start to add the first string and ask yourself the same question. What sounds good? What note is that anyways? Is that a flat 9? Is that a sharp 9? Do I like the way it sounds or not? And then maybe, because it's blues, the theory's all like messed up, but maybe you'll find out that later on you say, oh, that was a flat 5 I was playing. That's cool. It's okay, right? And as advanced players, of course, what you will want to do to that blues is totally jazz it up. Make it so that you have a 2-5-1 in bars 9 and 10, a 2-5-1 in bars 9, 10, 11. You put a 6 chord in bar 8. There's another video of mine about that. So let me just do a run of basic shells again. So I'll play the root and the third and sevenths in the two locations over two courses to give you an idea of what a jazzier progression might be. All right, let's get going. Here, I'm gonna go C to F to C, and then to F, maybe F sharp diminished if I feel like it. C, A7, then D minor 7, G7, C. All right, you ready? A 1, a 2, and not too fast shells. 2, 3, 4. Now I want to do the next chorus up, next inversion. I have guests for my birthday, they just arrived. So I might have to end this video early. A7, D. All right, now what now? I'm taking blues here, but you have to be aware you can do this on Style by Starlight, Days of Wine and Roses, There'll Never Be Another You, Giant Steps, Autumn Leaves. You know, you have to do that diligent work, because the process will be, now we're looking at, oh, cool, you can comp and it sounds cool. And you might just tweak one of your top notes. Instead of a 9, it becomes a sharp 9 or a flat 9. Or you could do this, you could just find tremendous things to do, especially as you start to remove your root and you start to put your second string on and you start to put your top string on. I want to demonstrate with one chorus and then move away from comping, because it's self-obvious. Like, well, look, you're playing a good comp because you're playing the notes of the chord starting with essential. It makes sense, but I want to see how this goes for improv and maybe even for chord melody. Let's see how it goes with just an example. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm nervous because my brother arrived in the house. I can't predict what his behavior will be when filming a video when he walks. It's like, hey man, how are you? All right, brothers that's what they're there for. All right, maybe I should hand him a bass or something, even though he doesn't play yet. We'll see. All right, so that's the process of that. Now, why are they important in the improvisational sense? You can use those to play the minimal lines. Like, yes, you can still shred on your blues scale. That's cool. But if you want to be specific and make the changes, that's a comment. Recently I read Zen Guitar. In that book, the guy says there's a concert and there was a jazz player comping and there's this rock player taking a solo. And some of the more advanced musicians, they went, yeah, that rock player, he didn't make the changes, which is a style of playing. But making the changes is part of playing good music. The blues scale is part of playing good music, good timing, good rhythms, good groove connection, and making the changes is part of that. It's like having proper syntax when you're speaking, if you will. So let's see if I can do a tiny bit of a solo on that with the lower inversion and increasingly add complexity to my solo as I build up from the third and seventh. So I'll be on here, this, on F, then back to C, then A7, D minor 7, G7, C. I'll do one chorus down here. No, I'll do several choruses down here and add complexity. See how this is at the heart of my improv, and then I'll stop and I'll resume and do the other inversion. See if you can follow along. So blues and C. Maybe we should put a metronome on, actually. I should practice what I preach sometimes, right? Yeah. 132, a 1, a 2, solo on C blues, a 1. See if you can count for me. 1, 2, 3. I could have fun with this all day, but you see, what I started to do, I started to add complexity. But in my mind and in my ears, all I hear is these guide tones. The rest is icing, just adding a layer, adding complexity. So see how cool this is when you want to build a solo. You start small with the actual minimal amount of information, a little blues line, whatever. Then you add. And let me do a short demo on the other side at the top of your second versions here. So just to recap, the shells are here. Then back here. Actually, I have to tell you, this is one of the first videos I did on YouTube like 12 years ago, June 2009. And it's a horrible video. I was young, I was really uncomfortable, but it's a process. Like, look, here's your guide tones. You can do anything. You can do your chord melody. I'll get back to chord melody, but to maybe look it up and see that's sort of a redo of something I find that really makes sense for guitars. So here, C7, F7, C7, F7, C7, A7, D minor 7, G7, C. Let's go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. I don't know where I was going. That last chord, I heard something different. So you see, you can stick to that. And the point is, in the spirit of seeing the forest, I sense it. That door's going to open. It's going to blow up with balloons. Surprise! We see the forest before the trees. The forest is those guide tones. These things move. They're simple. They move by half step. And then what if you can put a line that's sort of, in French, tricoté, that's like interweaving around this, or adding a part of a scale. Then you say, oh yeah, Mark, I know my modes. Cool, plug it in. Oh, I know my arpeggio. That's 3 and 5. That's 7. Oh, I know the flat 9. I have a diminished lick I picked from Barry Harris. All right, cool. Put it in. It's nothing is. If there's one thing I learned in my life is, it's never either or, this, that, or that. No, it's not or, it's and. Do all of it. All right. Last topic. There is a way to do that with chord melody that I don't want to get into right now. But remember, say you're practicing Autumn Leaves. 3rd and 7. There's a whole approach of going and playing full chords. That's fine as well. But what if you could surpass yourself? And I'm going to pick another song. It's really the days of wine and roses. 3rd and 7s. Whatever it is, right? See, I'm playing 3rd and 7th, so it doesn't mean I will always play that, but the point is that the 3rd and 7th can inform my playing while I'm building a chord melody on top. And they can start, it's a good start of a foundation for a good chord melody, which means you have the minimal amount of information you need. You can do the Schofield thing as well, which is you don't need to always play everything. Just figure out what works for you so that the melody stands out, and then you put your guide tones under it when it fits, when it feels like it. And then you might wind up doing these substitutions, because instead of thinking of huge chords, you're just thinking of 2 or 3 notes that you're adding under the melody, if that makes sense. All right, so that's been my my rant on, here's a way to be very specific, to reduce the amount of information you need to create amazing comping that sound modern easily by only thinking of guide tones, shell chords, or they say guide notes, guide tones, or chord tones, if you will. They're all synonymous. And you can do that for comping, of course. You can do that for chord melody. And as you see, I've shredded a little bit in this video. You can do it for playing solo. And you bet that as these 2 strings in the middle sort of light up with the proper notes that go down through the changes, most of the time when it's cycle of fourths, it goes down through the changes, like the gravity takes them down, and then you start over, etc. I bet you once that happens, then you'll start to have solos that are way more fluid, that you're making the changes during your solos, and that effortlessly we could just turn off the chords and we still hear within your lines, we still hear the chords going by, because you're anchoring your playing in these anchors, the 3rd and the 7ths. By all means, is this not, again, the only way of doing it, but it's my way, and I can probably guarantee if you were to ask like Pat Metheny or the late Wes Montgomery, it's like, you have these things down. It's like, yeah, when this chord's happening, this is some of the good notes. And then the chord changes and this happens. Oh, yeah. I'm sure they see it not just on the 3rd and 4th string. They see it on everywhere, right? But that's a good place to start. And as you get more experience, you can see another playlist of mine. If you want to do the comping studies, you will see that he's adding the 3rd and 7th on the lowest string. So you'll do your C blues here, but then your next inversion would be here. So strings 4 and 5. It just sounds a bit deeper, and that would be sort of my next step I suggest for more advanced students. All right, on that note, that's it, guys. Please like and subscribe. Please check out mastery.jazzguitarlessons.net to get news about when we're going to release the program, the Mastery program. And also, if you're a more advanced player and all of this stuff is interesting, but you want to take it to another level, please do. You'll have a link here somewhere. Please do book a call with me. It's totally free of charge. I call this my sort of discovery strategy session. We just get on a call, It's totally free, and it's what's the URL? nextlevel.jazzguitarlessons.net. Next level, one word, .jazzguitarlessons.net. We'll get on the phone and see if I can come up with a custom plan to increase your chops. On that note, I'm Mark from jazzguitarlessons.net. Happy birthday, Mark. And I will see you soon on the website. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher. And I'll see you soon on the mastery program and on the rest of this YouTube channel. Take care, guys. Thank you.